The last visit to a dead planet. The red sky burned above the planet. Dark clouds moved slowly like heavy smoke. Firestorms roared in the distance. No animals, no birds, not even a single tree. This was a death world, a place where no life should exist. The small silver ship landed gently on a cracked black ground. Its surface was covered in ash and dry dust. As the ship cooled, its side opened with a soft hiss. A tall alien figure stepped out. Her name was Virilla. Virilla was a xenobiologist from the High Council of Arvin. Her people were one of the oldest and smartest in the galaxy. She had visited over 50 planets, studied life in the darkest places, but even she had never found a single survivor on any death world. Until now. She stepped onto the dead ground with careful feet, her suit adjusted to the toxic air. Her scanning device beeped softly in her hand. She spoke into her recorder. Planet Delta 5. Class: Death World. Atmospheric pressure high. Heat levels dangerous. No known life signs. The wind howled loudly, blowing ash into the air. She walked toward a cliff edge and looked over. Rivers of lava flowed like blood. Sharp rocks stabbed the ground like broken glass. She checked her readings. No signs of movement. As expected. Suddenly, lightning cracked the sky. The ground shook. She turned and ran back toward her ship. But too late. A sudden explosion hit the ship's side. Smoke and fire. Her communication link sparked and died. No, no, she whispered, tapping her wrist device. No signal. No way to call for help. She was trapped. Virilla stood still for a moment. Panic rose in her chest, but she pushed it down. She was a scientist. She would survive. She activated her backup scanner and searched for shelter. There, in the distance, a small cave. She began to walk. Hours passed. The sun never set. The heat made her tired. Inside the cave, it was cooler, darker. She sat down, took a breath, and checked her supplies. Enough for 3 days, she whispered. But as she looked around the cave, she saw something strange. Marks on the wall. Not natural. They looked like symbols, letters, alien letters. No, not alien. Human. She blinked. This can't be real. She touched the marks. They were old but clear. Someone had been here, a human, but humans had vanished long ago. Many believed they were only stories now. Her heart raced. She stood up quickly and turned on her scanner again. Maybe there were answers nearby. Suddenly, a sound. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Her eyes widened. She turned toward the cave entrance. Someone was there. A shadow moved. She raised her weapon, hands shaking. Who's there? No answer. The shadow stepped closer. A figure appeared. Tall. Covered in strange gear made from metal and cloth. A helmet covered the face. Virilla's voice dropped to a whisper. Impossible. The figure slowly removed the helmet. A face. Human. Scared. Dirty. But alive. He looked at her with calm, tired eyes. She froze. The weapon in her hand dropped to the ground. The human spoke. You're not one of them. His voice was deep, quiet. Virilla could not speak. Her mind raced with questions. How? Why? For how long? The human looked at her scanner, then at the sky outside. You shouldn't be here, he said. This place isn't safe. Who are you? She finally asked. He didn't answer right away. He looked around the cave. Then he said one word. Jace. Virilla's hands shook. She turned on her recorder again. Subject identified. Human male. Name. Jace. Status. Alive. Unknown how he survived. Jace looked at her with cold eyes. You're not the first to come here, he said, but you may be the last. She stared at him. What do you mean? He looked out at the burning sky. Others came. Long ago. They didn't last. But I did. He turned to her. "And if you want to survive, you'll follow me." Viola hesitated, then nodded. He picked up his gear and walked out of the cave. She followed him, unsure of what waited outside. But one thing was clear now. Everything she knew about Deathworlds was wrong. The human who shouldn't exist. The cave was silent again. Outside, the sky burned red, the winds howled like angry spirits, and lava rivers crawled like fire snakes across the land. Inside, Varilla followed the human through a narrow tunnel, deeper into the rocks. She had so many questions, but something about the way he moved, quiet, careful, alert, told her this was not the time to ask. The tunnel opened into a hidden chamber. A soft green glow came from the ceiling. Small plants grew from cracks in the wall. Not native to this world. Someone had planted them. Someone had made this cave a home. Jace removed his heavy bag and placed it gently on a flat stone. He didn't speak. Not yet. Viola looked around, stunned. There was a sleeping mat, a fire pit made from metal scrap, water containers, a few tools made from ship parts, even a broken photo in a cracked frame. 3 humans, smiling. She reached for it. Jace spoke. "Don't touch that." His voice was calm, but sharp. Her hand froze midair. She turned. "Who are they?" He didn't answer. Instead, he sat down, took out a flat device, and placed it on the floor. A soft hum and a blue light covered the room. A shield. Soundproof. Safe. He looked at her, finally. "You're not military. Not a hunter. So, why are you here?" Viola slowly sat down across from him. "I'm a scientist. Xenobiologist. I study life forms on dangerous planets." He smiled a little. "Dangerous? That's one word for it." She leaned forward. "You're human. But humans, they're gone. No one has seen one in 200 years. He looked away. "Not gone, just forgotten." Viola frowned. "How did you survive here? This planet should have killed you within days." Jace stood up and walked to the wall. He pressed a hidden button. A section of stone slid open, revealing weapons, gear, notes, maps. "I didn't survive," he said. "I adapted." Viola's breath caught. "You were sent here." He nodded. "Crash. Years ago. We were part of an off-world colonization test. 20 of us. Scientists, soldiers, engineers. What happened to the others?" He paused. "You're standing in their grave." The silence grew heavier. "I was the youngest. Not the strongest. But I watched. I learned. I changed. This planet kills everything that doesn't evolve fast enough." Viola looked at him closely. His skin had slight scars, but also strange marks, healed faster than normal. His eyes were sharper. Even his breathing was steady, despite the heavy air. She whispered, "Your biology. It's different." "I told you," he said. "I adapted." She reached for her scanner. Slowly. "Can I take a reading?" He nodded once. As she scanned him, the device beeped rapidly. Cell structure. Stronger. Heart rate. Stable under high pressure. Immune system. Hyperactive. He wasn't just surviving the death world. He had become part of it. "Your DNA," she said, amazed. "It's rewriting itself to match this environment." He didn't look surprised. "It started after year 2. I thought I was dying. But my body was changing. This is evolution at speed no one has ever recorded." Jace turned toward the map wall. "This planet is just one. I've seen others. Different kinds of death worlds. Ice planets. Acid rains. Gravity 3 times normal. And in each one," he pointed to small marks on the map, "I found signs. Not just life. Human life." Viola stood slowly. "Wait, you're saying more of you are out there?" "Not many," he said, "but enough." Her voice shook. "We thought you were all gone. Your race was too violent, too unpredictable. That's what the council said. Jace laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Yeah, we were too dangerous, so they left us on Hellworlds and closed the gates. What do you want now? He turned, and for the first time, his eyes burned with purpose. I want to find the others. Bring them together. We survived hell. Now we take back the stars. Suddenly, a sharp alarm beeped. Jace rushed to a panel, pressed a button. A small drum camera appeared on the screen. Someone's coming, he said. Not my people. Not yours either. The screen showed black ships, smooth, sharp-edged, like knives flying through the air. Symbols marked in red. Vyrilla's eyes widened. Those are from the Sykar Empire. War hunters. They follow human tech signals. They found you, Jace said, loading a weapon. And now they'll come for both of us. She stepped back. We have to run. No, he said, tossing her a mask. We have to disappear. Where? He pointed toward the back of the cave. I have a way out, but it's not easy. Only one rule. He looked her dead in the eye. No questions, just move. And with that, the wall opened into darkness, and they vanished into the unknown. Secrets in the sand. Darkness swallowed them. Vyrilla followed closely behind Jace as they moved through an underground tunnel, narrow and rough, carved by hand. The only light came from the dim blue glow of Jace's wrist torch. She could barely breathe. The air was dry, thick with the scent of dust and metal. Where are we going? She asked. Old ground, Jace replied without looking back. A place no one else knows. Not anymore. Behind them, distant sounds echoed through the tunnels. Mechanical footsteps, metallic clinks, the hum of alien machines. The Sykar hunters had landed. They were tracking them. Jace stopped suddenly. Vyrilla nearly bumped into him. What is it? He turned his torch toward the ground. Half buried in the sand was a panel, metal, covered in rust and dirt. A mark showed faintly, the human colonization logo. This was a base, Vyrilla whispered. The first one, Jace said, before it all went wrong. He brushed the sand aside. Slowly, he opened the panel. A deep staircase led downward into shadow. Down there, he said. That's where the truth is. They descended slowly. With each step, the air grew colder. At the bottom was a heavy door. Jace placed his hand on the scanner. Beep, click. The door opened. Vyrilla gasped. They entered a large underground room, still powered by old tech. Lights flickered to life. The room was full of consoles, screens, maps, and human remains. Old, dry, untouched for years. The skeletons still wore uniforms. They died here, she whispered. Jace nodded. They locked themselves in, tried to protect the data. He walked to the main console, dusted it off, typed in an old code. Screens lit up. Files appeared. Project, Eden Gate. Status, terminated. Reason, high threat evolution. Vyrilla stepped closer, reading the files. Her eyes widened. This wasn't just a colonization mission. This was a test. Jace nodded. They dropped us on Deathworlds, not to build. To see if we could survive them. But why? Because we scared them, Jace said quietly. The councils, the elder species, your kind, they didn't trust humans. Too unpredictable, too emotional, too fast. She read more. One log showed a message. Subject 12 has developed heat resistance. Cell repair doubled. Aggression increasing. Recommend termination before mutation spreads. They didn't want survivors, she said, shaking her head. They wanted extinction. Jace's voice was cold. But we survived anyway. Suddenly, a sharp alarm rang out. They found the entrance, Jace said. He ran to a side wall, opened a hidden panel. Behind it, crates full of weapons, gear, and strange devices. "Take what you can carry," he told her. "We won't be coming back." Viola hesitated, then picked up a scanner and a shock rifle. She never imagined she'd need weapons on a science trip. They ran through a narrow exit tunnel, but the noise behind them grew louder. The Sekar were closing in. Just before they reached the end of the passage, Varilla saw something glowing on the wall. A message, written in glowing red paint, human handwriting. "We are not the weak ones. We are the next step." They emerged into sunlight. They were on the far side of a dune field now, miles away from Jace's original cave. Above, the sky had turned a darker shade. A storm was coming. A firestorm. "We need to move," Jace said. "But first, we need to see something." He led her to the top of a dune. From there, she could see a wreck, an old ship half buried in sand. "What's that?" she asked. "The ship I came on," he said. "But it's not just a ship, it's a vault." They slid down and entered the wreck. Inside was a sealed chamber, powered by backup systems. "This," Jace said, placing his hand on the final scanner, "is where the others planned everything." The door hissed open. Inside were data cores, hundreds of them. Logs, voices, coordinates. Virilla picked one up. It activated. A voice spoke. "This is Dr. Lena Armitage, Eden Gate Project. If you're hearing this, it means one of us made it. We are not dead. We are changing. Remember, some of us escaped. Some of us made it off-world. They think we're gone. We are not." Jace looked at Virilla. "Now do you believe me?" She nodded slowly. "They're out there." Suddenly, her wrist scanner buzzed. A signal. Faint, but real. A female voice. "This is Haven 7. Repeat, Haven 7. Survivors present. Request contact. If any human units still exist, respond." Virilla stared at the signal. "It's another colony," she said. "They're alive." Jace gave a half smile. "We're not the last." But before they could speak again, a loud boom shook the wreck. Dust rained from the ceiling. They turned toward the door. The Sekar had found them. Again, "They're not alone anymore." Dust filled the air. Virilla coughed as Jace pulled her through a tight maintenance tunnel beneath the wrecked ship. Above them, the Sekar hunters had broken through. They could hear the hiss of alien weapons, the heavy boots, the clicking of scanners searching for life. "Keep your head down," Jace whispered. His hand stayed on the small blaster at his side, but his eyes were scanning every shadow. He moved like someone who had done this too many times. "How did they find us again so fast?" Virilla whispered. "They've been tracking anything human," he said. "Tech, DNA, even memories." Virilla looked confused. "Memories?" Jace didn't answer. They reached a dark chamber deep under the sand. The lights here flickered weakly. Jace closed the hatch behind them. For now, they were safe. But not for long. The chamber was filled with strange machinery, half destroyed. Data cores stacked in crates. On one side, a large glass tank held what looked like a machine grown out of bone. "What is this place?" Virilla asked. "An echo room," Jace said, "built by the first survivors." "What does it do?" He looked at the tank. "It records pain." She stared at him. "What?" Jace walked closer. "When the first humans started dying here, some of them tried to send out signals. Not just messages. Feelings. Pain, anger, memories. This machine, it catches them. It holds what's left of people." Virilla stepped back. "You're saying this thing is alive. Not alive, but not dead either." Suddenly, the machine pulsed. A faint whisper filled the air. "Run." Virilla's eyes widened. "Did you hear that?" Jace nodded slowly. "They want us gone before it's too late." They moved deeper into the base. Jace opened a locker and pulled out a small device. It looked like a compass, but it had strange symbols spinning around it. "What's that?" she asked. "A link finder," he said. "It points to old human beacons, colonies, signals that were once part of our network." Viola pulled out her scanner. "And what about the voice we heard before? The woman?" Jace nodded. "Haven 7. It wasn't an accident. That signal came through a coded channel. It means someone from my original mission made it. Can we reach them? If we survive the next few hours." Suddenly, a new alarm buzzed on Jace's wrist. He checked it and froze. "They've called reinforcements." "How many?" He looked up. "Too many." Outside, on the surface, Sickar dropships were landing one by one. Soldiers in black armor marched out, carrying plasma rifles. Scanners flew overhead like metal insects. One Sickar officer raised a long blade and pointed toward the sand. "Bring the human alive. Kill the alien." Back underground, Jace and Virilla made their next move. He handed her a small explosive. "Place this on the north support beam when we leave. It'll collapse the tunnel and slow them down." "And then what?" "We head for the ridge. There's a signal tower buried in the cliffs. If I boost the Haven 7 frequency from there, they might be able to find us." They split up. Virilla ran silently through the old tunnels, passing bones, memories, long-dead voices. She placed the charge and whispered, "I'm sorry," to the ghosts. Jace moved toward the exit, checking the path. Suddenly, he stopped. There was someone standing in the hallway ahead. Not Sickar. A human. A woman, covered in dirt and torn gear, holding a rifle, breathing heavily. He raised his weapon slowly. "Who are you?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said softly, "I thought I was the last." Jace lowered his weapon. "You're from Haven 7. She nodded. "Name's Ryan," she said. "We picked up your signal. I came to find you." Jace's eyes narrowed. "Alone?" "No," she said, stepping aside. Two more humans stepped out of the dark. One limped, the other carried a massive pack of gear. "You're not alone anymore," she said. Minutes later, Jace and Virilla met up again at the base of the cliffs. Jace motioned to Ryan and the others. "They're from Haven 7. Virilla was stunned. "They came here for you." "Not just for me," Ryan said. "For all of us." "How many more are out there?" "Dozens, maybe hundreds, spread across Deathworlds, waiting for a signal." Virilla looked up at the storm clouds. "Then we have to send it." They climbed the cliffs, dodging firestorms and falling rocks. The signal tower was ancient, rusted, and barely standing. Jace and Ryan worked fast, connecting wires, powering the beacon. Virilla watched the horizon. Black ships were coming. Fast. She raised her weapon, heart racing. "How long?" she called out. 1 minute, Jace shouted. Explosions shook the ridge. The Sickar had seen them. They fired plasma blasts that scorched the stone around them. 30 seconds. Virilla fired back. Ryan threw a grenade, taking down a small ship. 10 seconds. A blast knocked Virilla off her feet. She looked up, bleeding. And then, the tower lit up. A blue pulse exploded into the sky. The signal flew into the stars like a flare. Jace smiled. "They'll hear it." "Who will?" Virilla asked. He looked at her. "Everyone who survived. The human network." The tower was burning. Smoke rose into the red sky as firestorms howled in the distance. Jace stood at the edge of the cliff, watching the last pulse of blue light disappear into the clouds. The signal was gone, but not lost. It was moving now, traveling faster than any ship. Not just across the planet, but across the galaxy. Behind him, Virilla pressed her hand against her injured shoulder. Ryan helped her sit down, eyes scanning the ridge for more Sickar soldiers. "How far will it reach?" Virilla asked, her voice weak but steady. Jace didn't turn around. "Far enough to wake up ghosts." 3 hours later, in a cave hidden beneath layers of stone, the group rested. Ryan's team had set up temporary shields. Jace checked the tracker on his wrist. A green dot blinked. Not just one. 12. What is it? Virila asked, moving beside him. He showed her the screen. Responses. 12 different return signals. That means they're alive, Jace whispered. The colonies. The scattered humans. They heard us. He tapped into the map. Each signal came from a different death world. Places the galaxy had forgotten. Acid seas. Frozen deserts. Crushing gravity. All unlivable. All human. Ryan stepped closer. We've been hiding too long. Surviving in the shadows. But this changes everything. Meanwhile, deep in space, a massive ship floated silently in a hidden field of asteroids. It had no name, only a mark, a human fist breaking through a chain. Inside, command screens lit up. The signal had reached them. A tall man with a half-metal face stood at the center of the bridge. His name was Commander Hale, one of the first survivors of the Eden Gate project. He listened to the message sent from the cliff. This is Jace. Delta 5 Death World. Survivors confirmed. We are not extinct. The experiment failed. We adapted. We endured. And now, we rise. Hale looked at his crew. 20 men and women, all hardened by Deathworld life. Scars on their faces. Fire in their eyes. Track the source, Hale said, and prepare for jump. One of the crew asked, Are we finally going back? Hale nodded once. We're bringing our people home. Back on Delta 5, Jace and the others began planning their next move. Virila stood at the center of the cave, surrounded by ancient human tech. We need a way to contact the other groups properly. The signal tower was only a burst. We need a permanent connection. Jace agreed. We'll build a beacon, not just a message this time. A network. A bridge between every death world. Ryan raised an eyebrow. And where do we get parts for that? Jace smiled. I know a place, but it's not safe. They traveled for 2 days, crossing lava fields, jagged cliffs, and ancient ruins. They moved by night, hid by day. Sakaar patrols circled above like hawks. On the 3rd day, they reached it. The buried Ark. A massive ship, half submerged under black sand, forgotten by time. It was one of the original colony vessels. No one had entered it in over 100 years. This is where it began, Jace said quietly. Virila stared at the twisted metal. Do you think it still works? Only one way to find out. They entered carefully. The corridors inside were filled with dust, silence, and old bones. Ryan whispered, I don't like this place. Neither do I, Jace said, but it has what we need. In the command room, they found what they were looking for. The quantum node, a machine capable of creating interplanetary links, old but intact. As Jace powered it on, a voice echoed from the walls. Not a ghost. A recording. Ark command log, day 191. We lost contact with the other colonies. Most systems are failing, but I still believe they're alive. If anyone finds this, connect them. Rebuild the link. Remember who we are. Virila's voice broke the silence. Who was that? My brother, Jace said softly. He was captain of this ship. They began repairs. The machine was slow, its power core unstable. Sakaar ships were already in orbit now, searching for the source of the growing human signals. Time was running out. As they connected the node, one by one, the Deathworlds answered. Each voice was different. A child's whisper from a frost planet, a soldier's command from a metal canyon, a mother's call from a jumble world. They were all alive, and they were ready. Then, just as the last link activated, a new voice spoke. Cold, clear, inhuman. The Sakaar. To all Deathworld survivors, you have violated containment. This is your final warning. Surrender or be erased. Jace stood. They're scared, he said. Vyrilla looked at him. And what do we do now? He smiled. We show them what fear really looks like. Betrayal or choice. Location: the buried Ark. Command chamber. The room glowed with dim lights, flickering blue against ancient steel. The hum of the newly activated quantum node pulsed like a heartbeat. Signals flowed through it, voices from 12 Deathworlds now connected. Jace stood at the center, listening. Children laughed. Soldiers barked commands. Survivors whispered hope. A network once broken was now alive. Vyrilla watched him from a distance. His shoulders looked heavier now. Not with fear, with purpose. Ryan stepped beside her. You believe in him now, don't you? Vyrilla didn't answer. But she did. Above orbit, Sykar command ship. A tall figure stepped into the control room. Not Sykar. Older, wearing high robes, face hidden by a silver mask. He belonged to the Arvin High Council, Vyrilla's people. His voice was soft, calm, full of power. Is the human active? A Sykar officer bowed. Yes, High Observer. The quantum node is operational. Human colonies are responding. The masked alien nodded. Then it's time. Time for what? The observer turned. To end the mistake we made 2 centuries ago. Flashback. 200 years ago. A council room on Arvin Prime. Panic. Debate. Fear. Humans had arrived in the galaxy. Fast-growing. Emotional. Brilliant. But unstable. One council member stood and declared, if they continue evolving like this, they will surpass us. We must contain them. Isolate. Divide. Let the planets do the rest. So they did. They sent the humans to Deathworlds and erased them from memory. Present. Back on the Ark. Vyrilla stood near the old terminal, holding a hidden communicator. Her hand trembled. The signal buzzed to life. Observer to Vyrilla. Do you read? She looked around. No one saw her. She stepped into a side chamber. I'm here. The masked voice replied. You have done well. You found the human. You connected the network. He's not what we thought, she whispered. He's not a monster. He's dangerous. The voice interrupted. And now he's building an army. They're survivors. They're weapons, and you must finish your task. Vyrilla's heart pounded. What task? The voice grew cold. Lead him to the transmission core. Then activate the Omega Pulse. No. Vyrilla. The voice said, you serve the council, not your emotions. Do not forget who you are. The line went dead. She stood there, frozen. Later that night, Jace and Ryan were in the main hub, finalizing the next broadcast. Jace wanted to send coordinates, a message of unity, a call for the scattered humans to regroup. Vyrilla entered quietly. You should get some rest, Jace said. Can't sleep. Ryan smiled. None of us do anymore. Vyrilla looked at Jace. I need to show you something. They walked alone into the heart of the ship, the transmission core. Vyrilla pointed to the console. This is where you can boost the signal to reach beyond the fringe worlds. Jace stepped closer, inspecting it. It still works. Yes, she said softly, but her hand stayed near the side panel. If she activated the Omega Pulse, it would overload the ship's core and destroy the entire quantum network, including Jace. Jace turned to her. You okay? She didn't answer. He stepped closer. What's wrong? They told me to betray you, she whispered. Jace froze. Who did? My people. The council. They're afraid of you. Afraid of what you've become. They think killing you will stop everything. Jace didn't flinch. He looked at her, not angry, just tired. Are you going to do it? Vyrilla's fingers hovered over the switch, but she pulled her hand back. No, she said. I've seen the truth. I've seen the humans who built homes in fire, raised children in acid storms, fought monsters with their bare hands. You're not the threat. You're the warning. Jace stepped forward and placed his hand on the core. Then let's give them something to fear. But just as the signal began to power up, alarms screamed. Ryan's voice came through the comm. Incoming. Not Psychar. Arvin ships. Elite units. Virilla's face turned pale. They're here. To finish what they started, Jace said. Above the planet, Arvin warships shimmered into view. Sleek, elegant, and deadly. Not conquerors, executioners. On the lead ship, the masked observer gave a single command. Prepare the memory cleanse. Wipe all known records. No history. No survivors. Back on the surface, chaos erupted. Explosions shook the cliffs. The sky turned blue with energy fire. Jace, Virilla, Ryan, and the others ran toward the lower hangar, where an old shuttle was still buried. We can't fight them, Virilla said. They have psychic tech, mind scanners. They'll erase every human memory they touch. Then we don't let them touch us, Jace replied. We run, and we spread. He looked at the node, still glowing. They can burn one ship, they can't burn a whole galaxy. Virilla stepped beside him. What now? He looked to the stars. Now we give them a choice. The rise of the Deathworlders. Location, deep space, unknown region. A field of stars stretched in silence. Floating among the shadows were hundreds of ships, patched together from wrecks, old colony parts, and salvaged alien tech. Some were barely holding together. Others were armed like war machines. All of them were human. From jungle planets, acid oceans, ice-covered moons, they had answered the call. Survivors, engineers, warriors, children. The forgotten. The evolved. The Deathworlders. In the lead ship, Commander Hale stood beside his crew. His metal eye blinked blue as he watched the final message from Jace. They wanted to bury us. They forgot we grow from the dirt. He turned to his navigator. Open a path. Destination, Delta 5. On Delta 5, hours before the fleet arrives, the Ark was burning. Arvin shock troopers marched through its broken halls, searching for the quantum node. Mind scanners swept each room, wiping data, erasing traces. One by one, the Deathworld's last secrets were being destroyed. Virilla and Jace moved through smoke-filled corridors, avoiding patrols. How long do we have? Virilla asked. Minutes, Jace said. If we don't stop them now, the node will be lost. They reached the core chamber. Ryan and two others were already setting charges. We blow the entrance, trap them inside, Ryan said. But we lose the node too. Jace paused. Not if we upload everything first. He ran to the console and began transferring every signal, every colony's frequency, every survivor's voice, into a portable drive. Virilla watched the progress bar. 67%, 83%. But then, bang. The door burst open. Arvin troops flooded in, weapons raised. They aimed not to kill, but to erase. Virilla stepped in front of Jace, hands up. Stop. The lead officer paused. You are Arvin, he said. I was, she replied, until I saw what we've done. Step aside. No. A slow silence followed. Then Jace's voice. Upload complete. He yanked the drive and threw it to Ryan. Get to the shuttle. The chamber exploded into chaos. Virilla grabbed a weapon. Her first shot missed. The second didn't. She turned to Jace. We're not going to make it out together. Jace looked at her. Then you go. No, you have to finish this. His hand touched her arm, not as a soldier. As a friend. As someone who knew this might be goodbye. In the sky above Delta 5. The stars bent. A ripple in space. Then a tear. And through it came the first of them. The Deathworlder fleet. Scrap-built ships powered by raw fuel, solar bursts, and stubborn will. painted with symbols, names of the lost. Eden's Wrath, Ashborn, Nova Child, the Long Scream. They came from fire. Now they returned with it. Inside the Ark, Arvan troops heard it first. A distant hum, growing louder. Then the walls shook. Explosions. And through the smoke, humans, fully armed, eyes burning, teeth gritted. No military ranks, no polished uniforms. Just survivors turned soldiers. Jace turned to see Ryan's group return, leading the charge. Fleets landed, Ryan shouted. We brought the war. Viola smiled through tears. We're not the experiment anymore. In space, high orbit, Arvan warships prepared to retreat. But they were too late. The humans didn't come for survival this time. They came to end the silence. They disabled the mind-wipe beams. They destroyed the memory cores. They broadcast the truth across every open channel. We are the children you threw away. We are the voices you erased. And we remember everything. Ground level, final moments of the Ark. Jace and Virilla ran through crumbling halls. Above them, human fighters provided cover fire as AVAC ships descended. They reached the top deck. Hale stood at the ramp of the Lid shuttle. He saw Jace and paused. I heard your voice, Hale said. Never thought I'd meet you. You're late, Jace said, smiling. We had to pick up a few billion friends. Later, aboard the command ship, in a wide room filled with flickering screens, Jace stood before a gathering of survivors, humans from 100 Deathworlds. Virilla stood beside him. Her voice was quiet, steady. The councils won't stop. They'll call you rebels. Threats. Jace looked around. Then let them. He stepped forward. We're not building empires. We're not taking revenge. We're building a future. He raised the drive. And this is our map. Cheers erupted. Fists raised. Tears fell. The humans didn't just survive. They returned. And now, they led. In a distant galaxy, a small child on a death world looks up at the night sky. She sees something new. Not stars. Ships. One of them lands near her. A human steps out. Kneels down. Smiles. You're not alone anymore. Fade to black. Text appears on screen. We were born in death, but we carried life with us. We are the Deathworlders. And we're just getting started.